Welcome back to Final Score Friday, sponsored by Bojangles, Loyalty Automotive, and Richmond Pediatric Dentistry and Orthodontics.
Well, welcome everyone watching us online for the fifth quarter. Sean and I back to talk about some of the biggest games from Week 8. Thanks to the Godwin cheerleaders for joining us. Godwin gets a 35-0 win tonight over Deep Run. So they'll go into the next week with a victory. They extend the longest on-field losing streak in the Central Region as well. Deep Run's going to turn that around shortly. But the game of the week this week just might end up being the game of the year between number 6 Midlothian and number 8 Manchester.
A lot of people remember last year's game in which Midlothian came back from 28-7 down at half to win 42-35. Wasn't a shootout like that one, but it took 6 quarters to decide a winner. Midlothian was down late. They got a late touchdown pass from Cooper Meads.
In the final minute, right?
Under a minute. So we went
of regulation.
Double overtime. Jason Wright, the quarterback from Manchester, in for Landon Abernathy. Gave Manchester the lead. Then Cooper Meads again, this time using his legs. This went back and forth. But Coach Hutchings decided to go for 2 and the win, and Mekhi Byerson learned that move from his dad, Brad, when he played at Thomas Dale and West Virginia and Virginia Union.
Yep.
Comes up with a big play at the end of the game and holds Midlothian 31-30, celebrating kind of like what Midlothian did last year. When they were celebrating on their field, it was homecoming at Manchester, and they got a big win. 6 straight now for Manchester since that Week 1 loss to Highland Springs, and they're moving up. They could be 9-1 going into the playoffs this season.
And head coach Tom Hall says it's a much different team than the one that lost to Highland Springs in Week 2.
I mean, seeing this game, we saw a lot of 2 tight end setups. It was not a lot of the spread. And we saw Jason Wright. Didn't see him a lot during the early part of the season. He put him in this game, and Wright seemed like it gave that offense a spark. And he played well, got him the victory against Midlothian, suffered their first loss of the year. I don't think it's going to be a bad loss for Midlothian. I think it'll probably help them the rest of the year. But that was a big, big win for Manchester.
Would you have gone for 2 if you're Matt Hutchins?
I thought he was going to go for 2 at the end of regulation. Yeah. I really did. But I like the call. I mean, you take your chance. You didn't want to go maybe a third overtime, maybe get a little tired and say, let's do it on the road. They did it last year. They beat Monacan on the road. In a similar situation, they were down late, went for 2 on the road, got it, and beat Monacan. I was surprised they didn't do it at the end of regulation, but I like the call in OT.
But you know what? The defense made a play. Tip your hat to the defense. They made a play. Yeah.
And Brad, I think, was on the sideline, and he said, well done, son. I taught you well on that play.
Yeah, he did. The only undefeated team left in the Central Region is now, or in 5C, is Highland Springs. And we kind of thought that last night's game against Hanover would be a little bit of a challenge for him. Hanover plays great defense. Sam Rogers has his team scoring enough to win a lot of games this year. They've turned a bit of a corner. But this Highland Springs team, we've been saying this almost every week now. This is just a machine. This might be one of the best teams that Lauren Johnson has had. Takai Heath had a couple of first-half touchdowns, and they're doing it on both sides. It's not like they have to win a shootout every week.
No.
Because they're just flat-out outclassing everybody that they play.
And we said this the last 2 weeks. Patrick Henry and Hanover are no slouches in 4B at all. And they held Patrick Henry to a field goal last week in the game of the week, and then they get Hanover hold them to just a touchdown. We talk about how potent this offense is. This defense is pretty good. Think about it. Since the Julius Chambers game back in Week 1, in which they scored 20 points, I think the most they have allowed is 7.
Yeah.
They've had a couple of shutouts in that stretch, but it's been 7, 3, 0, 0, 6. That part could be the scary part, is how good this defense, how deep that defense is.
And everybody that has seen him the last couple of years and sees him this year says Christian Martin has absolutely turned a corner with the way he plays, the way he is in control of that offense, the way he makes decisions. It's like a different player, and that's the maturity and the development that you like to see out of a player like that, of whom much is asked.
Arm strength has gotten better. He's got more freedom at the line of scrimmage, and it's a totally different offense. And with the weapons he's got, he doesn't have to do everything offensively. He's got enough weapons to say, I can do this, I'll give you this. They're going to be scary come playoff.
Yeah, they're gonna play well into November and into December as well. Another good game in the West End last night. Douglas Freeman taking on Hermitage. Freeman was 7th in our coaches poll. Hermitage had been in and out all year, and this one went back and forth all night. Hermitage scored first, then Freeman would tie it. Freeman actually took the lead. Hermitage came back and scored the final 21 points of this game, but there was something that happened. After Hermitage scored to take a 21-14 lead, they kicked off to Douglas Freeman, and Freeman fumbled it inside the red zone. You give Hermitage, Jeremiah Coney, and Karan Burton a short field, and that's what they're going to do to you. And that's a big, big win for Hermitage because they have 3 losses already this year. You can't afford to get that far behind. Douglas Freeman was 3rd in Region 5C in the ratings points heading in. They were kind of comfortable at that spot and keeping a home game. Hermitage is 5th. So if they want at least one home game, they got to get these wins and they got to up those ratings points. And 5C it's not exactly easy to do it. And this is going to go a long way tonight to maybe getting them at least one home game.
It might actually leapfrog. I believe Bird was 4th coming into the week. They held the final playoff spot, home playoff spot in Region 5C. Of course, they defeated George Wythe earlier in the week. The win for Hermitage over a team in the region, such as Freeman, that were undefeated, might give them just enough to hold that final home playoff spot moving forward. We'll have to see later on. You mentioned turning the corner with Hanover with Sam Rogers. Let's go back to that first half, or the end of the first half when Hermitage played Glen Allen. They were down 21-0. Yeah. They got a touchdown late, went 24-21, and since that point, outside of the Lake Taylor game, I think it's 3 wins out of their last 4, and that Lake Taylor game was by 1 point. That might have been their turning the corner the rest of the way in the second half of the season.
And one more team to talk about, Thomasdale in Region 6A. They had the #1 spot in Region 6A. They went down to Hopewell tonight. It was a back-and-forth game in the first half, but they ended up coming away with a 41-12 win. Now, Thomasdale was just ahead of Oscar Smith in Region 6A. Now, obviously, there's 2 or 3 more games to play in this regular season, and those ratings points can move. But if Thomasdale has to make Oscar Smith come up to Chester, last time Oscar Smith had to come to Chester, they lost in overtime, and that was a playoff game. Now, you got to go back to the Vic Williams days to find that, but Oscar Smith is not used to having to go on the road, and that would obviously be the regional final. They'd have to win a couple of games each for that to happen. But Thomasdale obviously has a goal in sight.
Right.
And it can be attainable. And if they can keep that, and they can keep that top spot, then we're going to have to see the Tigers come up here. And if they want to advance, they're going to have to go through Chester to do it.
Only drawback with Thomasdale is the fact their last 3 opponents are 3A, 5C, and 4B. Nobody in 6A that they will play the rest of the year. Now, hopefully, those teams, which would be Petersburg, Bird, and Dinwiddie, the last game of the year, they could be 2 undefeateds. Maybe you get some extra points. Maybe those rider points and those points like that can help Thomasdale if you get that win, and maybe they can hold on to that spot. But if not, then you may have to go down to the beach, and that's going to be the drawback because Oscar Smith
playing
has
at
some
the
games
beach is going to have more chances to win.
And they got some 6A matchups in there on their schedule. That's the only drawback. But if they win out, they may have enough points with how good Bird is, and especially how Dinwiddie has been in Region 4B.
I want to thank everybody for watching online to the 5th quarter. Big thanks again to the Godwin cheerleaders for joining us on Week 8. For all your scores and highlights, it's the Final Score Friday page at WTBR.com. Sean and I will be back. We'll see you next Friday for Week 9 of Final Score Friday. So long, everyone.